How to know if you're mentally prepared before losing your V card. Trust in relationships.
If your boyfriend doesn't make you a priority and acts like you're not important, what do you do? How do I start talking to boys/dating?
How do you know if your boyfriend truly loves you?
Mom and dad are about to give you guys some advice. Mom and dad are about to give you guys some advice. And welcome back to another Vlogmas video.
So to go along with Vlogmas, we get this question asked a lot. Everybody always asks us to do this. We thought we'd give you guys some relationship tips, advice. Finally, we know you guys have been bugging. Now we don't know every single thing in the world because many of you, we're still young.
And I think that's why we avoided it for so long.
Yeah, but being in a relationship for so long, you also mature and you grow together and on your own. So I feel like even though we haven't experienced too much in life, we still have something to offer to help you guys who are younger or who aren't in a relationship. Yeah, help the youth.
All right, so just a disclaimer.
Are we the smartest people in the world?
No, but we know a thing or two.
But we know some stuff.
I mean, again, take everything we say with a grain of salt.
Grain of salt, grain of sand. Salt?
Is it salt?
Our
Grain
point-
of sand sounds weird.
Are we the smartest people in the world? No.
So I went on my Instagram story and asked you guys to ask me questions that you guys might need help on or advice on. And don't be blaming me if we give you some advice and then you end up doing it and then it backfires.
At the end of the day, it's up to you guys.
It's up to you guys.
If we think it's a good idea to jump off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge? Unless like it's a nice bridge.
Alright, so first question says, how did y'all learn to feel comfortable with each other? Example, passing gas and pooping.
When we were just friends and we would go over to like a friend's house. One thing she would always do and say was, like to whoever it was, is, do you have a bathroom? I need to So she was always comfortable with poop for some reason. Funny enough, I can't use public restrooms. I don't know, I'm weird. I just can't. I get stage fright. I get weird. But in terms of each other, I don't know. I just did it. I remember,
we kind of just did it.
I remember one time she was pooping while I was about to shower, and I had the water all misty, and the whole bathroom fogged up because I had the water steaming. She couldn't breathe. The thing was, she was pooping, so neither could I. So it was like a bonding experience. So in terms of when we got comfortable, we were always comfortable with each other. Her farts don't make noise, so I don't know when she'd be farting sometimes.
Yeah, and then whenever I do, it'll be like, yeah, and then we'll look at each other and we'll be like, did you hear that?
Yeah, and my go-to thing to I don't know, defensive mechanism is humor. So if I didn't have like a joke, like in the beginning of the relationship, I would just fart.
Honestly, I don't know if this is cheesy or not, but I feel like we've known each other in a past life. Because I think about some of the stuff we be doing sometimes, and I'm like, how are we that comfortable doing that? So to answer your question, I don't know. So I feel like we probably, I don't know, our souls, they've danced in a past life.
With each other in a past life. How to know if you're mentally prepared before losing your V card.
Okay, everyone, listen to me. This is the one time where I'm like, no, fuck everybody else's advice and listen to mine, I'm right. Listen, do not lose your virginity until you feel comfortable. I'm not saying a certain age. I'm not saying, after marriage, before marriage, blah, blah, blah. Like, everyone is entitled to your own beliefs, but one thing I feel like everyone agree on is when you're losing your virginity, you have to be comfortable. In my personal opinion, this is just so hard. I feel like I'm lecturing my kids right now.
But you know what? You make a good point. Is that it's not a big deal if you are a virgin.
It's not.
But losing it is a big deal to yourself.
Yeah, and for me personally, I know everyone, again, this is a safe space here. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. And I know some people, they want to wait till after marriage. Good for you. There are some people who don't want to wait. And that doesn't make either party better than the other just because, obviously I didn't wait, but that doesn't make me any better than someone who chooses to wait, and that doesn't make them any better than me. I think one thing everyone can agree on is whoever you lose it to, whether this is going to be the person you're going to be with for the rest of your life or just someone in the meantime, have it be someone who respects you.
And you know what? Guys get a lot of pressure from their friends to lose their virginity. Because that's what happened, like my friends did it to me, so on and so forth. And I don't think that's right. That's like that false, toxic masculinity type of thing. You know what I mean?
I know, it's like peer pressure nowadays. It's so weird. Like, it's easier
it's
said than done. Like the other day I was on that side of all these people's fucking Christmas lights and I was like, I want to put my Christmas lights up, and I felt jealous that they had better Christmas lights than us. Like, I know, like, peer pressure, it's like, it's hard in this day and age. Like, everybody kind of wants the sense of being involved and a part of something, but with something as sensitive as your virginity and as precious as your virginity, you shouldn't feel pressure to, no matter when you want to lose it, just make sure it's with someone genuinely respects you and your body and your needs and boundaries and makes you feel comfortable every step of the way.
Yeah, because for the most part, the first time is usually a bit of a shit show.
Yeah.
It's like, where do I put this? How do I put this on? Whatever. So, it's up to you. Next.
If your boyfriend doesn't make you a priority and acts like you're not important, what do you do? Leave.
Yeah, leave. That's not your boyfriend.
Yeah, or well, okay. Okay, rewind. So like, this is why like sometimes I hate advice videos because I'm like, I feel like I'm very good at seeing both sides to things, right? And like, you know, there could be a situation, and I'm not talking about you, girly, who asked this question, but like say Baymax had a girlfriend, right? And then Baymax is like, oh my god, my girlfriend is he's not paying attention to me, but he's not communicating his needs to her. Then that's an issue. Does that make sense? It's like communication is so important, and like it again, like if you communicate with him and he doesn't make an effort to change it, or at the very least listen to you, and if he gets defensive, like, because I know, like, I have a couple of friends who go through this, and like there's like a very fine line. Like, they should at the very least be willing to work with you and communicate with you and try. But if they're just flat out getting defensive or feeling like, or making you feel like you're asking for too much, or that you're being quote unquote needy, when in reality you just want attention, then I think it's like safe to say you should reevaluate the relationship.
Living together before marriage?
Question mark?
Yes.
I mean, obviously we live together.
Yeah, we lived together for 3 years?
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Oh my gosh, we've been living with each other since we were 18.
We've been living together for such a long time. I forgot what life is like without her.
No, we've lived with each other for so long. I'm happy though. Like, oh my god, we're supposed to answer her question.
Oh, we did living together before marriage?
Like, in terms of our opinion on it.
Well, we're obviously doing it, so you know where we stand. We don't, like, I don't think there's a real problem there. I don't think anything before marriage, or like you said with the virginity thing, there's no real right answer.
Yeah, and then in my opinion, like, I know people were probably like, you're so young. Go for it.
I actually think it's smart to live. In my personal
my opinion.
Because let's say you don't. Let's say you guys waited all the way up until marriage to live together.
And again, to each their own.
Each their own, whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat. But let's say you waited, right, until marriage to live with each other. Then that's after marriage is where you find out that person's habits of like their living standards, hygienically, how they take care of them. All these little things that add up. It really does add up, right? And then you really figure out, oh my goodness, I didn't know all this before we were married, but now we're married. As opposed to doing all that before marriage, seeing if that can actually fit with your lifestyle, having the transition into marriage be a lot easier, and then being like, okay, yeah.
You don't know the true character of a person until you guys are under stress with one another, because that's when your true self comes out. I want to start doing secret emoji in every Vlogmas. For today, it's a Christmas tree. So spam the comments with Christmas tree. I'm gonna do a secret emoji to see who's really listening to the video and who's not actually just skipping around. Christmas tree or eggplant, there you go. Because I want to see who's really listening throughout the whole video and who's a true supporter.
Who is a true member of our family, or eggplant.
Spam it. I want to see all these Christmas trees.
Christmas eggplant.
What are things you guys do to meet each other's love language? I love this question. Those of you who don't know, we took a love language quiz. My love language is words of affirmation, and then yours
You look nice today. I like how you look today when you look at what you look at. You look nice today.
Yours is quality time, so
quality time apart.
That's me! You're genuinely so good.
Hold on, wait. I'm preparing for this compliment.
No, he's really good at catering to my love language because I'm the type of person, like, I will feel so shitty about myself, but the second somebody tells me something, then I feel a lot better. It's like I need that affirmation and that support and those verbal words to like make myself realize things and make myself feel confident in myself, unfortunately.
What was my quality time?
Yours is quality time. Like, for example, the other day he really wanted to watch the special to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Right? He really wanted to watch that with me, and like he likes little things like that, just like us sitting, watching.
I like showing her things.
He loves showing me things and that quality time of like.
She don't like to watch them.
That's not true. Like just like showing me things and like just that quality time together, just hanging out. And like for me, I just feel so special and so loved when like he takes the time. And you do this all the time, like when I'm having anxiety or when I'm not feeling well, to like remind me of my accomplishments and to remind me why I should be grateful for things.
Trust in relationships, no question mark. So she's telling you to trust in relationships. Well, trust is earned, not given.
I don't think so.
You think you can just give anybody trust?
Or no, that's not true. The first month of our relationship, I feel like
I didn't have your trust, but that wasn't necessarily because of anything.
that wasn't your fault, and that's the problem, right? So I've gotten cheated on before. So like when I first got with you, I feel like there was a lot of problematic and toxic traits that I had that I still carried on from my previous relationship. And you know, during my time being single, I didn't unlearn those traits. So in my head, I thought, you know, every guy's the same. Every guy's out to get me, to cheat on me, like all of these bad things and just all these negative, just so much negative energy. So when I first got with him,
which was unfair,
I would lash out on him. And I feel like many other people, they go through this as well. But the thing is, you can't live like that forever and have that negative energy in your relationship forever, in my personal opinion.
You can't live in a bubble. You can't always be trying to, not everybody's out to get you.
Yeah, and like, again, like I feel like he earned my trust and I earned his trust.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily anything that I did or anything like that in the first month of our relationship. It's a form of trauma that carried over into the next relationship, which is understandable. And I understood that 100% from the jump. I understood that she would be uncomfortable with certain things and stuff like that. But over time, it's a pattern. Everybody gets used to a pattern. She got used to the pattern of me. Oh, he doesn't up. He doesn't do the same things that the last person did.
Yeah, and then if you're in a relationship and you're basically, if your partner has been in a similar situation to where, you know, unfortunately, like they've gotten cheated on and you feel like they don't trust you and you want them to open up to you a little bit more, take the time to learn little things like the last question, their love language. Take the time to understand, like, hey, this person doesn't mean to be giving me this energy right now. And the reason they're doing this is because X, Y, and Z. They've gone through this, so let me do the opposite and give them experiences that prove to them, hey, I am not that person.
You'd be surprised with how far you get with asking why.
Also, going on top of that too, if your partner has given you a reason to not trust them, I'm not saying just keep forgiving them, because at that point it's very toxic.
But do you let them gain the trust back at some point?
It depends on what it is. Okay, this is where I'm very like, no, that shit. If your partner has been caught flirting with another person, if your partner has been caught cheating, if your partner has been caught doing anything unfaithful, I don't think that you should give them the opportunity to gain it back, because I feel like they were unworthy of it in the first place. And unfortunately, like, and I say that not judging anyone who has done that, because I have forgiven my partner for cheating and stayed for a very long time, and like I just wasn't in the right headspace and wasn't ready to heal, and kind of felt like I needed that person. And I'm sure a lot of other people are in the same boat, you know, but take this from someone who's done it before. Like, you don't want that. How do I start talking to boys / dating? I feel like this is advice for anyone. I feel like when I was single, I was pretty bold.
Well, what about when you were like a young girl?
Oh, ain't nobody liked me in my city like that. I was
How do
so
you know
sad.
that?
Or well, no, actually, yeah, this guy liked me. He was on the baseball team. We went on a date. He asked me on a date, and I took all my friends with me because I was scared. But I don't know.
I don't know either.
I feel like in this day and age, it's like
okay, how do you start talking to like people you just know? You just be at home, you get bored sometimes, you're like, okay, that was hard.
How to cope with being poor as a kid when everyone else can afford so much.
Well, the thing was that my family didn't have a lot of money, but my mom worked a lot. She worked a lot, and she didn't make it seem like we didn't have money. She did a great job in sort of masking that, which was good, but it also hurt. Because then I didn't find out the other side until like I got older. But I wouldn't notice as a kid, like I noticed my friends would get like certain things, or certain people would have certain things that I couldn't have, like certain toys, certain games, and I just dealt with it. I was forced to grow up at a very young age. I feel like my answer would be very, very boring. I just dealt with it.
Dealt with it.
I just dealt with it.
For me, it's very different. I think for me, it's like I notice more now, and if anything, I experience it and feel it more now. And what I mean by that is, well, so a little backstory. Growing up, do you want to answer the question for me, Beth?
I was like, yeah, when I was a kid.
No, you're privileged, Baymax. Oh my goodness, he's a spoiled kid. Growing up, I honestly did grow up poor, and I didn't realize this until literally last year, maybe 2 years ago, when I was having a conversation. Yeah, growing up, my parents got a divorce, so my mom, she really couldn't afford much. After the divorce, our house got foreclosed. We were always tight on bills. At one point, she was working 3 jobs. I feel like it's a little bit different from you. Like my mom would always mention like that we were living paycheck to paycheck. She would constantly have to dip into loans a lot, and like I don't mean to put my mom on blast, but like when the second I got my first phone, I would constantly be called. I thought I was like popular and shit. I would constantly be called by collection agencies being like, hey, where's your mom at? Like she was dodging our calls, and my little 7-8-year-old ass was like, I don't know, she's at home, bye, I'm at school. Beep. And they would be like bugging me because, you know, like we were in debt a lot. But even then, like I didn't feel like, oh, I'm poor. And maybe because of that is because the city I grew up in. I grew up in a low-income city. It wasn't like I was this poor kid living with a bunch of bougie, rich, spoiled kids, right? It was like everyone was kind of the same, and I feel like money wasn't a big thing, at least for me and my friends, to where it's like, because none of my friends would like come to school with like fancy things. None of my friends would come to school in like Bentleys and you know, so like I'm so sorry that you feel like you're in a situation, or if this, I don't know if this is just a general question, but if anybody is in that situation, I'm so sorry. I think the thing that helped me really get through that though was being involved in school, because my mom and dad, they would be working all day. So, and you know, I wouldn't want to be home all the time. I didn't really have people to take care of me. So I was in ASB. I was in clubs all the time. Yeah, because I remember you'd always ask me like, oh.
Well, I was in basketball.
Yeah, you're in basketball. But yeah, I would be at school with like the little ASB crew till like 5, 6 p.m. So that leads into the next question.
How did you guys find your hustle? What made you passionate about it?
Or just motivation in life.
Motivation in life. The motivation in life was to get out of the situation that we were currently in. That was motivation.
Which was living at my mom's work.
Was living there. Because I lived in the same city she lived in. We had a good life regardless, but we knew that life could be better, and life shouldn't be stagnant, so we just took a big risk, and that motivated us, that fueled us, and then our family fuels us. How do we find it? In terms of like this specific thing of like YouTube and filming stuff, she always played with cameras when she was a kid, and so did I, ironically. We're very similar. It was kind of ingrained in us subliminally.
I feel like for me, it was just always there. You know, like even though I didn't know like the severity of like our financial situation at the time growing up, one thing that was always apparent to me was my mom lives at her work, and I don't want that for her. That was always a big thing for me, you know. It was just always there. That hustle, I guess you can say, was always there in me. And like, again, like you said, like our main motivation was to get out of that. And to this day, like my main motivation is to get my mom out of that. How to deal with imposter syndrome? Girl, I don't know.
What is that?
Imposter syndrome is basically the feeling of like, hey, I don't belong here and I don't deserve this. And the reason I say I don't know is because if anybody in the comments can tell me how to deal with that, then tell me, because I don't know. Like to this day, maybe because of like the city we come from, like I will still feel that way in this space, in this influencer world of like, do I really fucking deserve this shit? Like, did I deserve that chunk of money? Do I deserve these nice things? Do I deserve the car that I have? And like,
I think that everything happens for a reason, because everything leads to something else.
Right.
So if you feel like you're in a place where you don't belong, but you are obviously there, like let's say you're like doctor in Beverly Hills, but you came from like where we're from.
Right.
And you'll be like, why the hell am I here?
Right.
Well, that's because there's a reason why. You worked hard enough to get there.
Any little thing you did in your life led you up to being there. And that's one thing that I feel like we all need to remember. And again, it's like still a learning process for me.
And it's okay.
But I have hella imposter syndrome, like especially like where we live now. Like obviously, we're not saying it's like some bougie fantasy land. Like it's really not, but it's so different from our hometown.
Yeah. I need advice on saving and budgeting. P.S. I love you guys.
Oh, we love you too.
saving and budgeting. There's at my barbershop, there's a young kid who works there. He doesn't have a lot of bills to pay. And I tell him, and he's so quick to spend his money. And that's okay, because I was like that at his age. I feel like when we're all younger and we get a little bit of money, we're just like, I want this, I want this. One thing you gotta get in your head is you don't need everything.
You don't need it.
Right now.
Yeah.
You may want it, it's good to have wants. But in terms of needing it at the current moment, you probably don't. I don't need a PS5. Well, that's different. I might need one. Having said, there's budgeting. You gotta break down all your expenses throughout the month. Food. This is how we do it. Food.
Car rent.
Food, car rent, the pets. Like all that plays a part. Then you'll get your monthly, what you need for the month or the week, whatever. Try to make double that. Save the other half.
I love you, but I feel like that advice was I feel like that's what every advice video says. Make a budget every month. No. Listen to me. Be as cheap as you possibly can. I feel like I'm still like that. Be frugal and like don't be, or I shouldn't say frugal, but be smart. Like for example, dog bags, we don't buy dog bags, right? Because they have a dog park over there, and if we can take the bags.
Of course I'm gonna take free plastic bags.
But some people don't know that. It's like little, in terms of self-control, if that's what you mean for budgeting. Literally lock the money up if you need to. One thing that I feel like it's different for me.
Unless you're trying to buy something really, really cool, then you buy it.
Or I think you can, spending on experiences is different from spending on things you don't need. And I think just having that and being aware of that whenever you're spending money is enough to help you go far. It's is what I'm spending, like coffee with friends, that's like a little bit more beneficial than me buying a robot coffee machine.
That's not
true.
You
know what I mean? What?
Because the robot coffee machine can make coffee for you and your friends.
So what else are like some budget?
You spend your money, have fun. Next.
How do you handle your personal finances as a couple? So as a couple now.
Here's how we handle our finances. That we'll walk into a store and then we'll look and Alyssa will point and I'll just take my card out.
No, that is not true. That is offensive. I wouldn't say everything. We split 50-50 because like there will be times where I'm like, okay, I'll just handle this because you handled
the big stuff will be like 50-50. If she's buying if we're buying fast food, I'm not gonna be like, babe, give me half for this McDouble.
For this $4 meal. I'll just cover it the next time. But for rent.
For like rent or the gas bill, electricity bill, whatever.
Split.
Then you split that. Car payments, split that. Things that we use together, split that.
Yeah, any little things, split that. But again, occasionally, like, we're a couple, like, we want to help each other out. And, like the other day, I was like, oh, I'll get this for you, right? Or he'll be like, oh, do you want me to help you with your car payment today? Because it's like, it's my car, I'm paying for it all on my own. But, like, he wants to help me sometimes.
I do subliminal messaging sometimes because I don't want to tell her.
Like what?
So I'll take her phone because, the FBI is listening. Like, PS5.
Oh my god. How do you keep a healthy relationship? P.S. I'm an OG fan and you guys are my favorite. So sweet. Thank you. We love you. Go. How do we keep a healthy relationship?
Eat your vegetables, drink water.
What are good tips?
Good tips is one is don't be afraid to talk about anything.
Oh yeah, I'm not scared to talk about anything. I will bring it up.
Because even with the finance thing, I know some people are iffy about the subject of money.
Yeah.
Especially bring up with your significant other, so on and so forth.
You need to.
If you feel like you can't say something to who you're gonna be with,
that's a bit of an issue.
It's a bit of a red flag.
And I think you need to rethink why.
Reevaluate.
Why am I afraid to tell this person this thing? That's a red flag, right?
Healthy relationship, laughing.
Laugh a lot. Switch things up. I think that's something that a lot of people, especially couples who have been in a relationship for a long time, just continue to do the same old things or the same old dates. It's so important to just change things up. I feel like you don't have much of a problem with that because I have a new personality every day and in every video too, depending on my mood. But constantly switch things up. Switch up the dates, switch up the food you guys eat, switch up.
Get a dog.
Oh, we love to go on drives. That's one of my favorite things to do is just both of us go on drives. In lockdown, we were going on drives for 3 hours and just talking about life and our goals and things we want to accomplish. I think that's a good one too, is talk about your goals with your partner.
Yeah, see if they align. How do you know if your boyfriend truly loves you / what are some signs that show you?
I feel like...
Do I love you?
Yeah, you love me.
How you know that?
You clean up Baymax's poop when I don't feel like it. Oh, that's my second love language. Acts of service. My top one is words of affirmation. The other one is acts of service. Oh, that's not even the question. How do you know if your boyfriend truly loves you? Okay, Alan said when he looks at you a certain way, but I don't think that applies anymore. Like, because we've been looking at each other like, or what's the song? Bitch.
Corvette.
When he goes out of his way to unlearn certain habits for you, to cater to you, and that doesn't mean like he's dropping his whole world for you, but it's like, for example, little things that you've done for me is like old habits that you had that I felt like I didn't align with. Like you went out of your way to unlearn that and fix that.
Advice on losing friends. I'm just kidding. If there is like any friction between you and a friend, or like, is any lingering feeling of like, man, you know, I don't know if we should still be friends, that is a good sign that you are moving somewhere in your life towards something, and they're aligning with that something, or they're moving on to something else in their life, and you guys' life just doesn't align for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're never going to be friends again. It doesn't mean that they're a shit person or you're a shit person. It just means that life goes on.
Yeah, I've lost a ton of friends, and like to be blunt with you guys, like
I'm thinking about losing more friends.
to be blunt with you guys, not every single friend that you have or people you encounter in your life you're gonna be friends with when you die. You know, and like we get lucky and we're very fortunate sometimes to where like, yeah, like you've been friends with that person for years, and like you'll get that gut feeling like, yeah, I'll be friends with them forever. But sometimes there are only people who come into your life to teach you something that you needed to learn, and you might not realize it in the moment, but it's like, hey, I was friends with this person who ended up being a narcissistic asshole ass bitch, but then they taught me how to love myself, or they taught me how to be patient with people, or they taught me
and like
to be open-minded.
Yeah, and different people, like you said, will teach you different things. Like I've had friends for years who I'm like super close with, and then I've had like friends who have just come into my life who instantly became like my best friend.
It's all for different things and in divine timing. And again, like if you feel like certain people are drifting away from you, or that they don't want to be friends with you, that's an even bigger sign that, you know, they don't align with your values and they don't align with you as a person, and it probably just wouldn't have worked out. Just let it go. It's okay. I know it sucks, but it just brings you closer to meeting more friends that do align with your values. Hello everyone, I look crazy right now, and we forgot to outro this video again, but we just wanted to say, well, me, because Trey's at the barbershop, but I'm sure he says hi. But we just wanted to say thank you guys so much for staying till the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. I know this is a bit of a lengthier video. Today's post notification shout out goes to, I really hope I say your name right, but Jamia Green. Thank you so much for being subscribed and having your post notifications turned on. If you guys would like a post notification shout out, all you have to do is like this video, subscribe to our channel, turn your post notifications on, and comment down below in the comments. We love you guys so much, and I am so tired. We have been editing these videos, and it's been so fun but so crazy at the same time. But we hope you guys are enjoying Vlogmas and having a wonderful start to December, and yeah, we love you guys so much. Bye.